Welcome, adventurers. Today we start a quest to unlock engagement in the classroom. Hi, my name is Pete Whiting. I am a teacher and a D&D player. Today I'm going to talk to you about D&D for teachers, why teachers should play it, and if you're really keen, why you should bring it into the classroom. Why should teachers play D&D? One simple thing. It rules. It's the best. But there are other reasons as well. For example, what is it? Well, when we talk about what D&D is, that will show you why it's a good thing for teachers to be interested in, to be bringing into their classroom. First off, 1989. My dad comes home and he gives me a birthday present. It is this book here. Not this version of the book. This is a picture I found on the internet. But this book. Actually, mine was in a folder, not as a hardbound book. Doesn't matter. Not the point. So, this book changed my life. This book is the Player's Handbook. And he also brought home another book, which I don't have there, called The Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, basically, this is what D&D is. It's not a board game. It's a role-playing game where all the rules, not that anyone sticks to the rules vary a bit, where all the rules exist in these books here. You need these, some dice, some pens and paper, and you're away to go. It is your imagination which drives the game. Basically, the world is a medieval world, but with magic, and there are knights and whatnot, wizards, dwarves. I often play a dwarf, and yeah, there's just it's basically you invent a character. The dungeon master is the person who's starting the story. It's very important that you understand it's just starting the story, and you place your character within that world, and you and your friends sit around the table, and if you're 7 or 10 like I was, you drink copious amounts of caffeinated beverages and eat lots and lots of chips. And if you're not, if you're an adult, you're probably drinking lots of beer, and you sit around and you play your character. You collaboratively tell a story. That is what D&D is. It is a storytelling game. You're inventing a story on the fly. You're being quick, you're being creative, and you're solving problems. You're dealing with limitations because your character is not perfect. The character you rolled up, there's a bit of chance involved, so they have parts that they're really good at. They might be really, really strong, but they might be super dumb, which means they're probably going to hit things a lot. Then you've got another character who's kind of trips over a lot and is a bit weak, but is a super ninja when it comes to the magic. So you've got to problem solve. You've got to work out a way around all the obstacles in your path. And it's not just simply go in and smash and grab. You've got to solve puzzles, negotiate. You need to have empathy. You need to be a social being. It is not that very typical picture that we see. So basically, D&D is super exciting, and it's lots and lots of fun. And yeah, as we said, you build a character. You use dice to have the chance element of whether you're going to get away with what you're trying. And you and your friends sit around and you tell a story. And the Dungeon Master, she's in charge of everything that's happening, and your party will be built with usually 4 people, plus the Dungeon Master. You can do it with 3, you can do it more, it doesn't matter. And yeah, you build your story. And that's what D&D is. You will become a creative person as a teacher who plays it. We all want kids to be able to tell stories. Literacy is something we care about. And this is the sort of thing where the children will be telling stories if we encourage them to. But what's really cool about this is, from a teaching standpoint, is that you have to be self-reflective and there is progression. You need to be assessing what you're good at, and those things which you aren't good at, you have to work within the game to get better at. This is something we're trying to do as teachers all the time. This promotes a growth mindset, which hopefully we have, not just the kids. There's a lot of stigma. This is a guy who looks like your very typical D&D player. Kind of looks like me without hair. His name is Brian Posehn. He is a super rad stand-up comedian. But he's not your only famous person who plays D&D. And these are all people who play D&D as adults, not played it as kids. So still play it now. For example, you've got Tim Duncan, two-time MVP, probably the greatest player, big man at least, of a generation in basketball. Phenomenal. But also a massive D&D player. 6'11", so he's massive. Then we have Vin Diesel, not known for being a nerd, but still plays D&D. And in actual fact is really quite a big advocate of it. There's lots of videos of him online playing, and he sort of pushes for kids to play it because he understands is a thing that's creative and wonderful for kids to do. And you've got The Rock. The Rock, the least nerdy human being, the coolest man in all of professional wrestling. And there he is. He's an actor, he's a philanthropist, and on top of this, he's a D&D player. So if you think you are cooler than those people, so be it. But it's good company as far as I'm concerned. Now, these are our Dungeon Master guides. These two books have been instrumental over the last year or so. My teaching buddy and I have been playing a lot of... We've essentially gamified our classroom, and these have been how we've got there. They are books that outline how to actually gamify your classroom. There's not a lot of why you should do it in these books. It's just, all right, you've accepted this is something you should do, so here's a good set of outlines how to do it. And the justifications of the things they're saying to do. And they go through the problems they've had as teachers. And basically, we have used D&D as a model because we are not programmers. We're not very good on the Minecraft thing. We're not set up to be able to build an online world. What we can do is we can show the kids how to build a world using their imaginations. So we've set up our world, which is in our classroom. We've split our kids into parties. Those parties are split up. There are different skill sets in each party. We've got kids who've identified themselves as being good at maths. This is particularly the senior kids who found this easier. Kids who are good at maths, kids who are good at the practical stuff in a science classroom, kids who are really good with the theory. We've grouped them together so they're complementary skill sets within each group. Then we've used something like this called a character sheet. The students have built their characters, and to be fair, there have been classes which have latched onto this more than others, but I think when it comes down to it, that's an enthusiasm thing. If you are enthusiastic and sell this to your class, they'll come along for the journey. We've changed the skill sets. So over here, sorry, you've got your, to the left here, you've got your different skill sets. We've checked dexterity. We kept that's for kids who are really good with their hands and the prac stuff. Strength, we moved to. We've still got intelligence there. We changed that from intelligence to researcher. So your researching ability, so your ability to take in that sort of theory side of the information, as opposed to intelligence. The problem with the idea of intelligence we found was that it's a fixed ideal, and we didn't want to go that way. Again, we're trying to build a growth mindset because every single task in our class comes with experience points. And the more experience points you get, now this is D&D, our setup's a bit different to this. The more experience points you get, the more you level up. What we've found is that as kids level up, they get certain items that they can use within the class, etc. We found that they're really trying very hard to get as many points as they can. Consequently, they're doing more work. We have a bunch of work which is compulsory. We run a flipped classroom, so the work down there, let's watch the videos, let's do the core activities. But then we've got a bunch of work which is optional. We're calling these side quests. What we're finding is that in a bid to sort of hit the top of the points table, even the kids who are down the bottom, actually, they're still doing, and that's bottom of points level, the points only measure effort, they do not measure ability. And that is, except for we have the odd boss battle, which are like our topic tests, and they've got to pass a certain bit before they can move on. But the points are measuring effort. And we found that kids are realizing that there are others putting more effort in. They're trying to keep up with their friends. There's some slight competition going on, but generally the groups are working together because they get rewards for how well their group is going. It's not an individual game, and that's what we're learning. And this is why D&D has changed the way we teach. Whether you're calling it D&D or you're calling it, as we are, something different, if it doesn't matter, the game mechanics behind it are there. Now, in the links in the description below, I'll add a couple of links to some fairly adult games of D&D. So there'll be slight language warning on one or two of them. Just if you're unfamiliar with the game and want to see how it's actually played, watch people play it. It is super entertaining, and I suggest you do. But I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions for us, please put them in the comments below. We'll get back to you as quick as we can. We love to. We're happy to answer any questions, and if you've got any tips for us, put them in the comments below as well. We'll get straight to those. We always want to learn more. We want to get our classroom wisdom levels up as high as we can. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.